Hello and welcome to the United Stand. It's Friday night, preview night, live at 8:30. Manchester United visiting Everton at 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. And the big news is Martial and Mkhitaryan likely to miss this starting lineup? I would expect them to at least be on the bench, but there is rumour that they will not even start the game. Don't be shocked, don't be stunned if that doesn't happen, is what I would say. We'll also be talking about this £50 million bid for Lindelof from Benfica and some of the key points that Mourinho mentioned today in his press conference. Let me get the live comments up, always important to do that. But yeah, it did start, Sully Tube. We've started, the event has started, your live comments are about to start there. Will he play Mkhitaryan and Martial on the weekend? It's something that many of us have been talking about since that, it was a weakened West Ham. The positive I took from that game was the way Mkhitaryan and Martial played. 2 goals, 2 assists, split between the two of them. Fantastic performance. It showed to me in the Old Trafford West Ham game how a lack of width. You put Rashford there, he's not a winger. Lingard's a squad player. You've got to play Martial, who can be one of the best players in the world, and Mkhitaryan, again, can be one of the best players in Europe. So they've got to start. I think if we start this team, which I would go with, which is De Gea in goal, Valencia right back, Jones and Rojo, Blind at left back because Shaw's injured, Carrick holding the midfield, Herrera with him, Pogba ahead of him, Mkhitaryan on the right, Martial on the left, Zlatan up front. Yes, Mata's not made it, but you could swap Mata for Herrera and drop Pogba back to the box-to-box position. I personally would prefer Herrera. I think he's good away from home in that box-to-box position, and it gives Pogba that freedom. Pogba will come back into the team. But these are nice options to have. If Mata's on your bench or Herrera's on the bench, don't cry about it. This is what United should be about. It should be looking at the 11 and going, I might have done it a bit different, but look at our bench. My big concern is that he will play Lingard and Rashford on the wings, and he'll have Mkhitaryan and Martial on the bench. It was weird last week. I couldn't understand why we did it last week. I just got a feeling he might do that. I think Darmian will come back into the team. Not even on the in the squad for the Feyenoord or the West Ham League Cup game, but did play last week. I expect him to come into it. What about the Fellaini factor? Will he start? Will Carrick start is the big thing. I think if we play Herrera as the holding midfielder, we're in trouble. It's got to be Carrick. Will Schweinsteiger be on the bench again? Lots to be excited about. But encouraging comments from Mourinho. He said, I've got a really good record at Everton. The way Everton play, the way we play, it's going to be a good game. I think the way United play at the moment, it will be a good game. And Everton certainly always raise it against us. Expect Barkley to have a good game. He tends to. Lukaku will obviously be up for it because Mourinho got rid of him from Chelsea. So it's going to be difficult. If you're asking me what's a good result for us against Everton, it's win or bust. If we've got any aspirations, and I personally think top 4 is going to be very, very, very hard. I personally think it's almost gone anyway. We've got to win. You've got to win. You can't afford any more draws. Certainly no more losses. So we've got to win there. Normally at Everton, you might say a point's a good result, but we're in the last chance saloon, and they're about to kick us out because we're drunk. We need to sober ourselves up, get back on the table, and start playing some cards. And that's what we hopefully will do. We're good enough to do it. It's just with United, as we know, it's peaks and troughs, and it's whether we're going to drop back a little bit now. Who knows? I'm confident we can do it. I think if he plays Rashford and Lingard, I don't think we'll win the game. That's nothing against Rashford. He's my favourite player, and it's nothing against Lingard, who is just a squad player. But Rashford should be up front if you're going to play him. He's not a winger. You've got Martial, confident, play him. You've got Mkhitaryan, been our best player when we've started him in the last 3 games. He's only played 2 of those games, I know, but he's been fantastic as well. So my score prediction for it's very hard to predict. I'm actually going to go for United to win it 2-1 because I think we've got to win it. So what's the point in predicting we're going to lose or we're going to draw? We've got to win it. Let's be positive, and hopefully the team will be reflected by that. But I think it's absolutely massive, and it's just, I've sort of heard it. People have been talking about it. I think we tweeted it on the night. It'd be criminal if Martial and Mkhitaryan don't start this game, but I thought it was criminal that we put Lingard and Rashford and didn't play Carrick. Oh, apparently he had a knock, but he plays 3 days later and plays 3 days before. I mean, I don't know what's going on with that. I think they're the 3 selections which will define how well we do in this game. I think Darmian at left back over Blind is criminal because Blind's best position is left back, but we get away with that. I don't think we can get away with not playing Carrick in defensive midfield and not playing Mkhitaryan and Martial on the wings. But I am concerned about it. We'll see what happens. Maybe if he doesn't do that, he's given up on the cup already, on the league top 4 already, because it's madness. We have got an 11 that I went through there that can do it. Obviously, no Rooney, he's suspended. In a way, controversially, a little into the video, I'll be honest, I'm quite glad he's suspended because I think everyone was like, oh, Rooney's back. I think he was the best I've seen in 2 years the other night. But to say he's back and then chuck him into an Everton game would have concerned me. It was a weakened West Ham midfield, and let's not forget he had Carrick behind him, who makes anybody look good, and he had Mkhitaryan and Martial around him, and Herrera as well. I'm not taking anything away from Rooney, he was good, but I'm old enough to remember that Rooney doesn't tend to do well at Everton or Liverpool in general when he goes there, and I think Mata's done nothing wrong. I personally, if Rooney had been fit, not suspended, I would have had him on the bench as an impact sub, so I wouldn't have wanted to start him anyway, so I'm not that fussed that he's out, and I think Rooney just needs to keep, get his head down and keep doing what he's doing, and if he can play like he did on Wednesday, between now and the end of the season, it's another fantastic option for us. Top 3 very possible, says Edgar Mark. Very quickly, Mourinho was saying about... sorry, there's a good comment here from Brad McNamee. He's winning the FA Cup and League Cup, no top 4 a good season. No, because neither of them get us in the Champions League. I think if we're going to be a cup team, we've got to go for the Europa League because that gets us into the Champions League. And I was thinking about this the other day, and I think we said it on Skype Goldbridge last night, which if you haven't watched, watch it back. Some very good callers from you lot. But when you look at United, and we're not home on Sunday, on Sunday, which might be a good thing actually, because our home form has been a bit dodgy in the league. But when you look at us at home, ever since Leicester, Stoke, Burnley, Arsenal, West Ham, yeah, we haven't had a lot of luck in front of goal, but we've created a lot of chances and we've played very well. And in the cup games, Feyenoord, West Ham, and a couple of others, Fenerbahce, we have scored a lot of goals, and we have, so I think our home form is absolutely spot on. It's just a bit of wastefulness in front of the goal. We're creating the chances, we're dominating teams. Europa League, whatever you think about it, and I'm not a massive fan of it, but it could become very important to us if we want Champions League football. You've got to play at it's a 2-leg game. You've got to play at home, and I would be confident in the Europa League that if we can keep that up at home, there's no reason we can't go all the way to the final. We will have to sacrifice top 4 because Europa League, year on year, every British team, especially between February and May, you can't do it Thursday, Sunday. You can't do it. It just destroys your league. So we'll have to just see. What United need to do is win as many games as we can between now and the start of the Europa League knockout stage, which is February. If we are within 5 points of 4th place, we've got a very, very serious decision to make. If we are in the same position now, where we're still 8-10 points off 4th place, I think park the league and go all out for the Europa League. I don't know whether you think that's controversial, but FA Cup, I'd like us to win it. League Cup, I'd like us to win it because hopefully, it could be Liverpool, so you want to win that. But ultimately, it just gets us back into the same situation we are in now next season, and the Europa League will screw you over big, big time. Trovo wants Mkhitaryan starting every Premier League game. I don't disagree with you. And Peter Stang says the team Mourinho took over. We can't just expect that he'll win everything the first season, mate. Which I never said we would. We'll reach the EFL Cup final, says Stephen McMorrow. I'm totally and utterly in agreement with that. George Kyle, absolutely right, Mark. Home form has been good in terms of play. Just I can't do it. Just missing chances, he's letting us down, he's said. Shaka Phillips is winning the Europa League, FA Cup and EFL Cup, and no top 4 a good season for United. I would say yes. 3 cups and we're in the Champions League. I'd snap your hands off for that now. I think it'd be a brilliant season. Because I think the league's very hard for us now because of the points that we've dropped. But let's not forget as well, that last season and the season before this and the season that Sir Alex won it as well, I'd love somebody to do a bit of comparison because you've got Chelsea, Liverpool and City especially, and Arsenal to a certain extent, but those 3 are bombed off. They're way ahead. I bet that this time last year, whoever was top didn't have however many points they've got. So they've bombed off as well. So it's a perfect storm of badness for United, I suppose. I could have thought of a better word, but badness will do. Whereby, we're in this transition. We've been really unlucky with some home games and dropped. You could argue we've dropped 8 points, 6 real definitely. And then you've got these 3 teams ahead of you and Arsenal who've bombed on. So we've been unlucky on 2 levels really. If this was last year, we'd still be in touch of a title even though we've dropped so many points. So I'll tell you what. TC Singh says he'd like to take Virgin van Dijk. I'm sure he's not a virgin. Virgil. And Martial is back, says Isaac Bishop. So yeah, I think if you said to me League Cup, FA Cup and Europa League, we'd be absolutely ecstatic, wouldn't we? There's nothing wrong with being a cup team if the league is sort of a big ask for us, which it may well be this year. So yeah, I'd be ecstatic with that. And it gets us in the Champions League, which is the most important thing. It's a lottery though. The thing is, you can go all the way to the final in the Europa League because you've got that home leg. But when it's the final, you're going to be playing somebody good, and it's a lottery. And Liverpool nearly did it, didn't they? So that would be gutting to miss out. Mad Marcus is having his dinner. Mourinho was always also on about Schweinsteiger. I tweeted it out last night, and people were like, basically, I said Schweinsteiger won't be sold in January. Quote Mourinho, and did a little back of the net Alan Partridge thing, and people were like, sauce, where's your sauce? Where's your sauce? Where's your sauce? One, the United stand never gives their sauce away, and we didn't in the summer. Two, he's come out today and said that Schweinsteiger won't be, more or less said Schweinsteiger won't be sold in January. They did offer him up for sale in the summer for a move for him because they didn't feel he would be part of the squad. But what Mourinho likes is his absolute determination and effort, and that's what he wants from players. And he's become a valuable part of the squad, which he is now, and he could play more games, which is great. And I think that's Schweinsteiger, if you like him, which I like to, it's fantastic to see him back in United shirt. But also, he epitomises exactly what Mourinho wants in a Manchester United player now. I can kick you, I can say you're not going to be part of my squad, and you will fight back and prove me wrong. He's not bitter about that. He's not like, I've said you're out, so you're out. He's actually encouraged and had his eyes opened by it and said, you know what? I admire, that's what I want in my team. So brilliant. Whatever you think about Schweinsteiger, I think it's really good. Be interesting to see. How good is Lindelof, says Tom Sants. Right, okay, we are going to do a transfer show at some point. It's just very show after show after show at the moment. And I did want to do a Skype Goldbridge last night because I think they're fantastic. So we've done 2 this week, but they are fantastic. Victor Lindelof, 22 years of age, only 22 in July, 6'2", plays for Benfica. He sort of played as a right back, as a CDM, but he's really a centre back. Swedish. Zlatan spoke him up. A lot of people saying, he's a bit like Vidic. He's a bit of a nutter. He's got tattoos and he has a bit of a skinhead, but he's all action. So, and to be honest, Scandinavians in general do adapt well to the Premier League. Dutch, bit hit and miss. And obviously Spanish, bit hit and miss, and the same with Italians, very much miss most of the time. But Scandinavians do well. He's all action, he's all heart. He could be a very, very good signing, and I said it the other day. There's a few options for us that excite me. I always forget his name. The Roma one, the German defender. Somebody will put it out. But obviously you've got Socrates, you've got Howardez, you've got Van Dijk, as somebody said there. Lindelof seems to be quite possible because you've got that Zlatan thing, and he's Swedish, and Zlatan's a god to many people, but as a Swedish, he's a super god. So that's an attraction. The thing that puts me off slightly is it's in the Daily Record, I think, and it's also in the Mirror. So, it means nothing other than the fact that I think they've probably put 2 and 2 together like all us lot have and said, it is a very good, he's a very good option, and I think it could happen. The 50 million thing puts me off a lot. Benfica are very good at this, at getting a lot of money for players that aren't worth that sort of money. Realistically, he's probably worth 20 million. Because it's January and there's a premium, I'd pay 30 million. What I would, Rudiger, thanks Chad, loads of you will say it. I always want to say Mustafi, obviously it's not Mustafi. But yeah, Rudiger, I do like him. Probably won't happen though. But yeah, I do like the look of Lindelof. I'd be very happy with it. And the one thing I would say is that I think every one of Jose's signings has been spot on. Bit funny to say it now because, we're not doing great in the league. But again, I can't go over it too many times. We've dropped 8 points at home that we should have got. Even if you said, well, you can't expect to get all 8. We should still have at least another 4 points, which would put us right in the top 4 positions and right in the mix. So, yeah, I do think Mkhitaryan's just taken a little bit of time, but what a signing he's going to be. Pogba, again, getting better and better by the game. Zlatan, again, good player. And Bailly was superb. So he hasn't made a flop signing. People say, he spent 150 million and you're so far off the top. But actually, when you look at the players he's signed, that's not the problem. The problem is what he's inherited, and it makes me laugh. It really does. I'm going to talk about it more in a transfer show, but people have had everything. If you say Mourinho is better than Klopp, you'll get 50 Liverpool fans on your timeline on Twitter going, he didn't spend 150 million. And I just can't bother. You can't argue with Scousers because you should never argue with people who are stupider than you because they're experts at it. So you go down to their level and you're arguing with stupid people who've been doing it for ages. So I don't do it. But the 150 million argument, whether it's from the press or any bitter rival, is absolute shit because every one of his signings, I would argue, were either really good or are going to be very good. So he's not actually signed a flop. Bailly was superb. Mkhitaryan's going to be brilliant. Pogba's getting better and better, and Zlatan is scoring. Yeah, he's missed a few chances, but he's going to score. So what my long point actually is, whatever you think about Mourinho's signings, when it comes to defenders and centre-backs especially, is very good. He's proven that throughout his whole career, whether it's Varane at Real Madrid or, you know, what he did with John Terry and what he's done with Bay at United. He is very, very good. And I trust him when it comes to his centre-back. So if he gets Lindelof, I'm sure it'll be a total success. But there we go. Mark, imagine having Eric Bay and Victor Lindelof, says Shaka Phillips. Yeah, so what we spent, Tottenham spent 800 million since last Silver, and Liverpool 1 billion, says Jack James. Oh, it's a good point. You know, Liverpool have spent a lot of money and they've not won a title. But United, the money's irrelevant. It's our money. We earn it. We can spend it on what we bloody well like. And also, none of those signings are flops. It's a myth. But, you know, don't argue with idiots. Lindelof and Matuidi, says Daz a 7. Yeah, I wouldn't mind either of those. Gameboys 2020 says, we're doing fine, we just need to be patient. So my score prediction for Sunday is 2-1. My team I would go with would be De Gea in goal, Valencia, Jones, Rojo and Blind. I think he'll play Darmian. I'd have Carrick holding the midfield. I'd have Herrera with Pogba further forward, Mkhitaryan on the right, Martial on the left and Zlatan up front. Yes, Mata's on the bench, but you could take Herrera out, drop Pogba further back, put Mata at 10 and have Herrera on the bench. Or what I think will happen is Carrick won't play, Herrera will drop 1 to the DM, Pogba will come in as the box-to-box and Mata will be the number 10 because obviously Rooney's suspended, which I'm not opposed to, but we've got to win this game. Play Michael Carrick, please do. So yeah, that's my thoughts, and I think we will win 2-1. Am I confident of that? No, but we've got to win this game. If we've got any aspirations about the league, we've got to win this game. If we don't win it, you look at everybody else above us, at least 3 of the 4 above us, the top 4, are going to win their game this weekend. So, and to be honest, I think there's no point looking at Chelsea and City, or well, you know, Liverpool probably will mess up at some point. We've got to be looking at Arsenal, and I can't remember who they're playing. West Ham away, so they'll probably win because West Ham have got Antonio and Payet out, haven't they? So it just all falls for them very nicely. But that's my thoughts. We will be doing a watch along on Sunday. Somebody asked. Always, every Manchester United game we're live. We go live as soon as the team news comes out. So it's a 4 o'clock kickoff. So we'll be live from 3 o'clock for the hour before, talking the team news, talking what's topical, and obviously I think it's going to be big team news. Will he play Martial and Mkhitaryan? That is the big question. You know, it'd be a very, very interesting thing that happens, but. It's only the start of December. The Europa League, I know we're playing on Thursday away to Zoya. Probably put our first team out again, won't we, when we've got Spurs on the Sunday. We really should be trying to minimise who plays in that game, who's going to play in the Spurs game. Because if we did win on it against Everton on Sunday, we'd be really confident. Then we'd have to beat Spurs at home. So, but after Zoya's done, there's no Europa League game until February. What we need to do is get as many points between now and February as possible, and then reassess. If we're still 8 to 10 points off 4th place, we've just got to go all out for Europa League. If we're within 5, we've got a difficult decision to go, because we go for top 4, which I think is the safer bet than Europa League. But we can discuss that later, and I do think we've got to be within 5 points on New Year's Day, which is a hell of an ask, and it means we've got to win pretty much every game in December, but we can do it. We've got Everton away, that's hard. Spurs at home, we should be beating Spurs at home. Then we've got Palace and West Brom away, got to win both of those. And then we've got Sunderland at home on Boxing Day, and then we've got somebody else at home, Middlesbrough, I think, on I think it's on New Year's Eve. So we can do it. These first 2 games of December are going to define our season. But thanks everybody for watching. Please do drop us a like, subscribe to the United Stand if you're new. Join us for the watch along on Sunday. I think it's going to be a great game. I'm very excited about it, and the team news. And might do a show tomorrow. Might do a transfer show tomorrow, but a little bit busy. Might be putting the Christmas tree up. But thanks everybody. Speak to you all very soon. And drop us a like if you like us doing a Friday night preview at 8:30, because bit of a weird time, but we did one last week and it worked really well. And I've really enjoyed the live comments again, so I applaud you all. And let us know if you want us to continue doing it on a Friday night. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all very soon. And if I don't see you before, I'll see you at 3 o'clock live for the watch along and team news on Sunday afternoon.